Alright, so we're kicking off phase 2 with Iron Man 3. And I don't really have much to say about this movie. It's not a terrible movie. Some people think it's bad, but it's kind of just an okay Marvel movie. I do think I've seen it probably the most of the Iron Man movies just because FX channel plays it a lot. But yeah, it's probably Iron Man trilogy is kind of weak with the exception of that first movie. But this movie's not that bad. I think it's kind of just okay. So let's get into it and let's talk Iron Man 3. So I do like the opening and ending narration with Tony talking, and we find out he's actually talking to Bruce Banner, and he says that we create our own demons, although I think that applies to Iron Man 2 as well, but I think he's talking about the fact that he threatened the Mandarin, and that brought on a lot of problems, and how just being a superhero, the Iron Man in general, has created just a lot of trouble and stress in his life. But I do kind of like that they try to have this nice little bookend and try and carry Tony's journey throughout the film with that. Then the movie opens up with a flashback to Switzerland in 1999, and we see Hansen from the first Iron Man movie, because I think he mentioned having met Tony Stark at one point. And I really like seeing Hansen back. He was a great character from the first movie, so I really enjoyed that. And then we also get introduced to Maya Hansen and Aldrich Killian, who is the head of AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics. We meet him, and actually the one thing I like about this flashback is I like the look that Happy has. He looks like he's ready to audition for a Tarantino movies, straight out of Pulp Fiction. And that's kind of cool, because I do like Happy. He only is in this first third of the movie, but I like what he does in it. He's, investigating Aldrich and everything, and he's taking his job as head of security really seriously. And so I like all the stuff early on that we have with Happy. Then we get Tony making another suit in his lab, which is always fun. I always love when we get to see Tony building stuff and everything. And so this is the Mark 42, the 42nd version of the Iron Man suit, and he injects a bunch of things into his body and his arms to that he can call the suit to himself piece by piece, which is kind of fun. So I do like that scene where the suit's flying at him. That's also a lot of fun. And then I love the scene where he kind of opens up to Pepper and tells her what's been going on with him and how he's, has been feeling since the attack on New York. And he has post-traumatic stress syndrome and anxiety issues. And I just really like the way that the relationship has built over these movies. I think that it's you see a lot more of the softer side of Tony. Is a little bit more vulnerable when he's around Pepper, and I like that Pepper still loves him no matter what. So I really like that relationship, and I think that scene is really well done. So then we get these terrorist propaganda videos from the Mandarin, who's played by Ben Kingsley, and they're pretty well done, in the sense that they're shot in a way that's really terrifying and kind of just building, and they feel kind of real, and so they're kind of just building that sense of threat from the Mandarin. And they're using the 10 rings, which was from the first Iron Man movie. And of course, Ben Kingsley is actually not the real Mandarin. He's playing an actor, Trevor Slattery. So spoilers for the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Ring movie. You've been warned. This is not the last time we see Trevor Slattery. Obviously, he pops up in Shang-Chi, and of course we get the reveal of who the true Mandarin is. That's a fake name that Aldrich came up with, but Shang-Chi's dad is the leader of the Ten Rings. But I really kind of like this performance that Ben Kingsley is giving as the actor playing the Mandarin. I think it is very threatening and menacing and terrifying, and too bad that wasn't, too bad it was all fake, but I think it was really well done. And of course, Aldrich Killian takes credit being the Mandarin, because the Mandarin was a made-up name, but I think everything up until the reveal, the switch at the end with the Mandarin, I think was really well done. And then the middle of the movie takes place in Tennessee, where Tony teams up with this little kid, Harley. And I actually love all the stuff in Tennessee. I like the one thing I like about this movie is the investigating of AIM and the Extremis, and kind of we're finding it out as Tony finds it out. And I really like that. We're not trying to play catch up, or we're not too far ahead. Like, we're all just moving on with the investigation, and I think that's really fun. And I like the relationship between Tony and little Harley. I think it's kind of a precursor to his relationship with Peter Parker going forward, and so I kind of like that whole Tennessee scene. I think the movie kind of slows down once we leave Tennessee and get to Florida and find out the reveal of the fake Mandarin. That's where the movie kind of drops off for me. I did like the Maya Hansen character, but she wasn't set up well enough for me to care about her turn, and then double turn, and then death at the end. I think we could have done more with her character. I know that they kind of original draft was to have her actually be the big villain instead of Aldrich. Well, that didn't test well or something. But I still don't think that would have worked, because we kind of get to know her a little bit through her work. But when she's like, okay, let Tony go, why? Why is she doing that? Because Aldrich has been doing terrible things this whole time. What's different now? So I don't really think her sort of double-end twist thingy at the end and then her dying was well done. But I did like the character, and I like the actress playing the character. Also, Pepper underwent the Extremis. And I mean, Tony says he can fix it, but does that mean he can get rid of it, or he's just fixing the glitch of not having her explode? I don't understand that, because it's never mentioned again going forward. And then also, what happens with all the other people that underwent Extremis? Were they quarantined? Because I mean, we saw a video of a bunch of people, and there's files of people blowing up, so we know that there's people with Extremis. Does the government take them in and quarantine them or something? Or it's never mentioned again, which is kind of a little weird. Also, I really like Rhodey in this movie. He's rebranded as the Iron Patriot instead of War Machine, but he gets more to do in this movie, and I really like when he and Tony team up at the end. It's better than when they teamed up at the end of Iron Man 2. So I think this movie kind of does a lot for the Rhodey character, and I really liked that. And I do like the ending where all the suits come in and help, and Tony's jumping in and out of different suits and everything, and then he blows them up. That's kind of a fun scene, but other than that, the ending is really not that good. So overall, is this the best Iron Man movie? No. Is it better than Iron Man 2? Yeah, kind of. In some ways, it's better. I think they both still have a villain problem and an ending problem, but I think the sort of what we're doing with Tony as a character, I mean, it's called Iron Man, but this is really more focused on Tony as a character. And there's actually kind of one of the things that I like is that when Tony does go break into the Florida compound, he's not in his suit. And it kind of reminds me of that line when he says to Peter in Spider-Man Homecoming, says, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And this kind of proves that Tony is something without the suit. He's still Tony Stark. He's still, a genius and can build things. And he's still kind of a hero. And so we're seeing that side of Tony outside of the Iron Man suit, which I really like that this movie does. It's just kind of an okay Iron Man movie, though. I think in the overall rankings of the MCU, it's kind of lower on the list. It does have some good stuff, but it's also got a lot of bad stuff. Again, that ending's not very good. So I think it kind of just becomes a forgettable movie, but it did make a lot of money, and it does kick off Phase 2. Unfortunately, it's the last of the Iron Man solo movies, so that's what we're left with. But the first movie's still really good. So those are my thoughts on Iron Man 3. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more Marvel reviews. If you want to help support the channel, be sure to check the link below and you can buy me a coffee. And until next time, that's all I've got. Cheap tricks and a cheesy one-liner. Bye.